You've got the receipts, the mileage log, and a CPA who files everything on time. Yet somehow every tax season feels like Groundhog Day with a side of rage. You stare at that tax bill, do the math twice, and still wonder how you worked this hard just to send that much money to the IRS.
Who's FICA? Why's he getting all my money?
Here's the catch. Most contractor couples don't actually plan for taxes. They just react to them. You're out there hustling, building dream kitchens, managing crews, juggling client deadlines. But the biggest financial leaks in your business aren't happening on the job site. They're happening in your books.
I should get the book. Okay.
Tax savings don't happen when you file. They happen all year long. And if you're waiting until tax season to think strategically, you're not saving money. You're just recording how much you owe.
That is a lot of money.
Today, we're breaking down how to stop overpaying the IRS, why doing your taxes isn't the same thing as tax strategy, and how a few small tweaks can keep thousands more in your pocket without working any harder to earn it. And before we wrap, I'll share one overlooked tax saving move that 90% of contractors miss every single year, and it could be saving you thousands. Welcome back to another episode of The Financially Savvy CEO. Well, hey there. I'm Kimberly Ferguson, CEO and founder of The Emerald Edge. At The Emerald Corner, we break down complex financial topics into simple, strategic moves that help you keep more of what you earn. And today we're diving into one of the biggest opportunities most contractor couples overlook: proactive tax strategy. Because your tax plan shouldn't be just about paying less. It should be about funding your goals, freeing your cash flow, and building real wealth that lasts.
I need you to teach me your ways.
Most contractor couples I talk to feel like they're doing everything right. Their books are up to date, their CPA files on time, but that tax bill still hits like a sledgehammer.
Here's Johnny.
They think they do have a tax strategy, but what they actually have is a tax preparer. Tax preparation looks backwards. It's about reporting what has already happened. Tax strategy, on the other hand, looks forward. It's about shaping what happens next. And if you're waiting until tax season to think about saving money, well, that's like checking the weather after you've already left for a road trip. You're not avoiding the storm. You're driving straight into it.
You have no idea what you're getting yourself into.
And this is where so many contractor couples get stuck. You're amazing at building homes, but not tax plans. But when you treat your tax return like an annual chore instead of a year-round strategy, well, you're leaving thousands on the table every single year. You're working hard, but your money isn't working hard for you.
Working hard or hardly working, eh, Mac?
So let's talk about why this happens and how to know if it's happening to you. For most contractor couples, the problem isn't a lack of discipline, it's a lack of visibility. You're busy keeping projects on schedule, handling change orders, chasing payments, and managing a dozen moving parts. Taxes are just another item on the checklist until they hit like a wrecking ball in April.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
You don't have time to scroll through the tax code, but the IRS doesn't hand out mercy credits for being busy. What really happens behind the scenes is your accountant is doing exactly what they're trained to do, and that is record history. But your business needs someone to help shape the future. So that means looking ahead, forecasting profits, and finding ways to legally reduce your tax burden before the year ends.
You have a plan? Perfect. I need a plan. What's your plan?
Here's how to know if this might be you. So you talk to your CPA maybe once a year, maybe twice. You've ever said, we'll see how the year ends before we make that purchase. You have no idea what your effective tax rate actually is. And you've been surprised by a tax bill for a couple of years in a row. Sound familiar? You may not be behind, but you're just playing defense.
Best defense is more offense.
So here's the shift. Tax strategy is offense. It's building a game plan that uses the rules to your advantage, like structuring your income, timing your expenses, setting up smart entity frameworks that keep your hard-earned money in the business and not in the government's pockets.
Get your hands off my money.
So many business owners think their tax preparer is already doing tax planning. Well, spoiler alert, if you're paying $200, even $500, couple $1,000, you're not getting tax strategy. You're paying for peace of mind, thinking that we're doing our best to reduce your taxes.
I'm working on it.
Preparation is transactional. It's compliant. It's totally necessary, very important. But it's making sure your forms get filed on time so you can sleep at night. And that's super valuable, like I said, but it's not strategy.
There's more?
Oh, yeah, a lot more.
True tax planning is proactive. It's customized. It's a deep dive into your numbers, your goals, and your long-term vision. It involves analyzing your income, investments, entity structure, payroll setup, deductions, etc., and timing all of those things to minimize what you owe before the year ends.
That's a lot to process.
And yes, it's more expensive because it's not a one and done meeting. It's an ongoing relationship. Real strategy means we're tracking, adjusting, documenting, and implementing year round to make sure that the savings we plan actually stick. And that's why it's a completely separate service. Tax prep tells you what happened. Tax strategy helps you control what happens next. And while it is expensive, you'll get an incredible return on your investment. And there's something else that's costing you far more that you probably aren't even considering.
I knew something was there.
So if your tax strategist can identify $30,000 in a legitimate tax savings, that's not $30,000 in found money. That's $30,000 you've been overpaying because your current CPA doesn't actually do tax strategy. And yeah, maybe you're proud that your tax preparer only costs you $500. But if that $500 savings means that you're giving the IRS an extra $30,000 for the last however many years, what did it really cost you? Answer, $30,500 every single year.
I'm throwing away money.
That's the hidden cost of cheap advice. And it's the mindset shift that every financially savvy CEO needs to make. Tax strategy isn't an expense. It's an investment with a measurable ROI. You're not paying to file papers. You're paying to keep more of what you already earn. Think of it like hiring a master electrician versus letting your cousin's friend figure it out. One gets it done fast and safely, and the other one might burn down your business. And once you start seeing strategy as a tool that builds wealth instead of just a fee that you have to justify, well, that's when everything changes.
But now everything is different.
Every month you put off building a tax strategy, you're not just losing money, you're compounding the loss. Those missed deductions, they don't wait around for you to catch up. That outdated entity structure, it's quietly leaking profit with every deposit. And the cash that could have been reinvested into better equipment, more team members, or your own future, well, it's already gone. And here's the real kicker. By the time you're sitting down to file your taxes, it's too late to fix most of it. You're recording history, not rewriting it. Waiting doesn't just cost you in taxes, it costs you in momentum. It costs you opportunities. And over time, those I'll deal with it later moments can add up to tens of thousands of dollars that could have been funding your next big step, not funding the IRS.
My God, what have I done?
So how can we fix this? Well, real tax reduction doesn't happen once a year. It happens all year. Because once the calendar flips to January, most of your best opportunities are already gone. So for contracting couples, this means looking at how your pay is split between the two of you and optimized for tax efficiency and family wealth building, planning equipment purchases strategically rather than panic buying equipment in December just to save on taxes. Whether your entity setup still protects you as you grow, and making sure that you're leveraging credits and deductions before your CPA ever sees your return, rather than hoping that they magically find something later. And timing, well, that's everything. If your first tax conversation happens in March, you're too late to play offense. You're stuck playing defense. Tax strategy during the year means that you're still in the driver's seat. You can still move the pieces, make adjustments, and steer your money intentionally instead of watching it disappear. We need a plan. When you run a business with your spouse, every dollar you save isn't just business profit. It's family impact. It's weekends off, less stress about payroll, and more freedom to choose the projects you actually want. Tax season shouldn't be the moment you find out what you owe. It should be the moment you celebrate how much you saved. Because when you use strategy, you're not reacting to the numbers, you're designing them. You're deciding how much of your money stays in your business. You're deciding how much of your money gets reinvested into growth. And you're deciding how much money goes back into your pocket, not Uncle Sam's.
It feels so empowering.
That is what true financial leadership looks like. That is what separates the hustling business owner from the financially savvy CEO.
Can be rewarded for their intelligence and savvy.
If you've never had someone build a proactive tax strategy around your actual goals, you're likely overpaying, and not by a little. So meet with one of our advisors at the Emerald Edge to find out exactly how much you should be saving. The call is free, and we'll show you the numbers so you can make an informed decision. No stress, no jargon, just strategy that pays you back.
I need to make a call.
This has been the Financially Savvy CEO, where spreadsheets are secretly sexy, numbers pack more punch than your double espresso, and every smart decision builds not just a business, but a legacy. Stay sharp, stay strategic, and I'll see you in my next video.